You might have noticed some recording errors and skipping. I'm sorry, but that's life. Anyway, so I'm gonna kind of get back to my roots, and it's been difficult for me because when you're a creative person with severe problems and crippling depression for over 10 years, things suck. Okay, a depressed artist makes nothing. Just, you know how it is. I'll be talking more about that later. So, one of the most self-destructive ways that you could be is both a procrastinator and a perfectionist. And as a person that constantly makes a mountain out of a molehill and overreacts to things that I should not overreact to or make a big deal of, I have this recurring phobia of my own projects. I get started on a project and then it gets bigger and bigger, and then I guess mentally I blow it out of proportion and I get afraid of my own project and I shove it into a folder and hide from it, and I get creeped out whenever I think about my project. I haven't really gotten to the root of that yet, but it'll be something. And a big part of it is pride. This is going to be a very long story, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. I really wanted to be successful and respected and noticed by senpai and have cool, popular, successful friends. Obviously, that is not the way the world works if you're a human. I burnt myself out so many times, pressing myself so hard to have a huge output to impress people that hated me for existing. I thought if I made something spectacular, they would like me and accept me, but that didn't happen. Basically, I hurt myself. I pushed myself so hard, I hurt myself physically. And these days, I'm so tired, and I'm really sad that I just don't have the amount of energy and effort to put into things that I used to enjoy doing. And a huge fact of life is how bleak and hopeless everything is until this all ends, and that's the only thing I'm counting on. The only thing that keeps me going now is trying to reach other people, and I know that the best way to do that is to be the way God made me to be and do the things I was intended to do. And after all that stuff that happened to me in my life, it's kind of hard to get back up, but I'm just going to try and do it. And I guess I'll bring this up off and on. One big thing that a lot of people like myself face is unrealistic thinking and unrealistic expectations, and thinking that what is industry standard and what big top professionals are doing should be standard, and that if you're not a major famous professional with a lot of unspoken of assistants and lots of editing and production, you're worthless. And just the way the world works really screws with our heads. Everything is blown out of proportion. A very common criticism that American food gets is that it's full of sugar and salt and fat, and that the food of other countries is more realistic and it has more flavor, whereas American stuff is junk, and that's why you gotta cook at home. That's a good example that our taste palates are out of whack from exposure to sugar and salt and fat and fake flavors and fake scents. And we've been conditioned like that. I'm not going to say like me personally, but I'm saying like as a culture, as a lot of people experience it. Normal food does not have that pow flavor. You have to train yourself out of that oversaturated, overcolored, overly produced fake stuff. And you have to get back to what's real, what's realistic, what's natural, what's normal. What did God intend? God did not intend us to spend 20 years working on some magnum opus. We're supposed to write short stories, short songs, make simple paintings, simple. We're supposed to be simple. And this world is confusing us, wearing us out, breaking us down, and being way too complicated. And I think that's why a lot of people get really depressed and think that we're no good, because we can't produce something so complex, and they just don't tell you what happens behind the scenes. All those great artists that have like amazing art, they have like 10, well maybe not 10, but 5 assistants working with them that they don't talk about. Just a part of the illusion is things look effortless, but there's so much production and effort and money behind the scenes, the stuff you don't see. And because we're not industry standard, we think we're garbage. That is not true. And another thing is, we should always be making simple, little things, not huge things. We shouldn't be blowing a whole day working on one thing. We shouldn't spend more than 2 hours on it. Another problem inherent with anything is it takes an hour to make and 5 minutes to consume. You spend an hour on a drawing and someone looks at it in 2 minutes. You spend an hour making dinner, you eat it in 10 minutes. That's just how it is. It's really unfair. You do not get a good return for your output. Life just burns us out. I'm gonna bring this up again later.